I think it worked now. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tales of Two. Says I am live. I see nobody. Okay, cool. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tales of Two. My name is Miss Rachel. Once again, we are, well, it's kind of a gray day in May today, so we are inside. But since last week was so beautiful, we actually got to see some really cool birds outside, and something that I usually don't see until like June. I don't know if you guys saw them. They're really tiny. See if you can guess what they are. Really tiny. They come when there's lots and lots of flowers around. They particularly like red flowers, and they're really cool little pollinators. They're really fast, and you might see them just kind of zipping by. If you haven't guessed yet, we are talking hummingbirds. Okay, so our hummingbirds that we have here are usually a ruby-throated hummingbird. They're usually one of the tiniest little birds that we have. They're only about this big. Like, they're really tiny. Okay, they're only like 3 inches long. These birds are nectar feeders. They're not really, no, I will say, they do eat some insects, which is really bizarre and you wouldn't think of it, but they do eat some insects. But for the most part, they're mostly sucking the nectar out of plants. So what we're gonna do today for Make It Monday is we are gonna show you how to make a nectar hummingbird feeder, okay? Out of some really basic materials. Plastic bottle, cream cheese container. Huh?
Greek yogurt probably.
Yeah, Greek yogurt would be a good one. Anything that has a shallow dish, okay? And a couple of bottle caps, okay? Red, gotta be red bottle caps. They like red, okay?
Whole milk.
Yeah, whole milk, or I have one that is a Coke bottle cap, any one of those. I think I saw one in my fridge that was like a soy sauce top. That'll work too. Okay. All right. So what you want to do to make a hummingbird feeder, because they're going to come to, they like red. They are attracted to red. They see more colors on the red end of the spectrum than a bee, which sees more things on the bluer end of the spectrum. Okay. So you're going to see, I'm getting like weird echo. I hope you guys aren't getting that. I'm trying to stay quiet so it doesn't like echo everywhere. But a lot of the times you're going to see hummingbirds attracted to red flowers. So we're going to do something with that. So what you're going to do, this is going to be your reservoir. So this is what's going to hold all of your sugar water. And that's basically all nectar is. Nectar is just that little treat that the plant makes in order for the bee or the wasp or the hummingbird or the bat in some cases. It entices them to come over, get a little bit of nectar, and then the flower kind of brushes some pollen onto it and then lets it go. The pollen is going to get transferred to another flower when they go to visit another flower and get more nectar. But that nectar is the treat. Okay? So we're going to make it so that the birds have something to eat. Okay? It's a little bit chilly now. They may have come a little bit sooner than they typically would. Maybe there's not as many flowers around. So we're going to make it easier for them. So take a water bottle, okay, and a shallow container. Forgot to mention, it does have to have a lid, and that lid has to stay on it securely, because the way it's going to look is you're going to have the reservoir right on top, okay? And that's this reservoir has to hold the weight of everything that's inside of it, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to open this up. Okay. I'm going to take this, and I actually have to cut a hole in it. So I'm going to cut a hole the diameter of the lid of the top here. So I'm going to tilt this down a little bit so you can see. Okay, there we go. Take my Sharpie. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. This is going to be, if you've seen my videos before, I'm just a hot mess. I mean, This is just how it is. Is there 10-second delay? Okay, cool beans. All right, so let's see how this goes. Yeah, and if you guys have any questions, just please put them in the comments, and I will get back to them as I can. Hopefully. So all I'm doing right here is attempting to trace around the neck of the bottle so that I know where to cut. And I think my line moved, but that's okay. We'll make it work. When you cut this, you want to cut on the inside of the line you did, not on the outside. Do you see how thick this line is? That thickness will make a difference whether it stays attached to the container or not. Okay, so you want to cut on the inside of it, not on the outside of it. Okay, so then, stay. I have other things here. We'll get to those, I promise. Stay. You know what, I'm not even using scissors. I'm going to use big sharp tool. Okay, utility knives are great. So what I'm going to do is poke this through on the inside, and then the best thing I found is that it's so much easier to turn the thing you want cut instead of your knife, instead of moving your knife. So you're going to try and pull it along a little bit. Okay, and if you go too much on the inside, it's okay. You can always shave it down in a little bit. It might even be easier to use some scissors. Okay, but you want a nice tight fit. Lovely. Helps to use a sharp knife too. My knife is not particularly sharp. Sharper knives mean less accidents. Oh, there we go. Now it's working. Now it's on the sharp part, so we're good. See how it's just gliding along? I'm not even moving the knife anymore. The knife is just staying right still. Don't try and force it either. You're using a sharp object, so don't try and force it and hurt yourself. Okay. If it doesn't cut through, like I said, you can just take your knife, and I'm just trimming the inside right there. Okay. Now I have my thing. Okay. So now back up. Now you might see that a lot of the water bottles have a little plastic ring right around the bottom where the lid was attached. That's pretty much where you want this thing to sit, okay? So that's gonna sit, I just put it back on just to show you. So that little plastic ring, we wanna take that off. You can cut it off, you can brute force peel it off, whatever. Okay, so you wanna take that off. And then you're gonna put your lid food side up, like a decoration side up, okay? Try and push it on as tight as you can. Push it down as far as you can go. Beautiful, look at that, okay? That's not going anywhere. Look at that. Oh, I just dripped water on my computer. Like I said, I'm a hot mess, guys, this is fun. So, we have our, this is the basic part of it right here. This is what's going to hold everything, okay? Now, in order for the hummingbirds and occasionally butterflies, in order for them to get, stop that. In order for them to get the nectar out of it, in order for them to get the sugar water, you're gonna have to cut an opening. Now, I am just going to use, instead of trying to use my knife again on such a tiny hole, I'm just gonna use a hole punch because that's easy. Another suggestion I saw was to take like a, what do you have, like a hot, like a lighter and like a paper clip or some sort of metal piece, and you can actually melt a hole out of it. You can do that. Be very, very careful. I like a hole punch. We have them. They're easy to use. You take a hole punch, shove it onto the thing as far in as you can get it, punch, and that's all we need. See that little hole there? That's all we need, okay? And I'm gonna do another one over here, just so we have another one. Okay, so I have 2 holes. Now this is where the hummingbirds are gonna get their nectar out of. Now, they're not gonna come attracted to this because white is not their color. There's nothing attracting them to this. They have really no sense of smell. They're not smelling the flowers like a bee might. They're actually looking for the flowers. So we have to put a flower on it. So in order to do that, we're going to go back to our caps. So in this case, this one actually already has a tiny, tiny, tiny little hole in it. I don't like the size of that hole, nor do I like the shape of this. You can totally use this. I imagine that they would come to it, but they tend to like things that look like flowers. So I cut one. This is the weirdest looking flower ever, but I'm gonna go with it, okay? So these things are actually really, really hard to cut. I did cut it with a pair of scissors. You might have better luck if you use like the utility knife, or you might try something else entirely, but this was a pair of scissors and I had a hard time. So I don't know, maybe you can just try using it with this, just pierce it with a hole or a nail or something like that. Okay, so I do not have a hole in this one, so I'm gonna make one. I'm gonna take my trusty hole punch because, hey, we're using it for one thing, why not use it for everything else? Okay, now their beaks are really, really thin and their tongue is really, really long. So this little hole, this tiny little hole, is more than big enough for them to put their beak in and more than big enough to put their tongue in. Okay, so this is gonna be perfect. Now, I do have a hot glue gun that keeps trying to fall off the table, so I'm gonna use this. When you use it, you only wanna put it, don't block the hole, okay? So just put a little bit around the flat parts on the outside, okay? Don't need much. Don't need, stay. Told you, it keeps trying to fall off the table. Stay, okay? You're gonna line it up right over top of one of the holes that you made. Okay, squeeze it down. Hot glue should stay pretty well. Might fall off over the course of the season. That's fine, it's easy enough to glue back on. This is completely recycled materials. It is completely disposable. I would not recommend keeping this from one year to the next, honestly. This is a one season thing. The plastic in this can degrade in the sun over time. It can release things into the sugar water that you're gonna put into it. I would not recommend using this for more than one season, okay? But it's a fun project to put in your yard for a little bit, okay? I don't think, let's see if I can make this one. I'm using the Coke cap. See if I can make this hole a little bit bigger. We shall see. Coke caps are a little bit sturdier than other things you might use. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to carve into and a little bit difficult to cut. Well, it seems to be doing okay. Like I said, for some reason my blade doesn't have, let me put it down. My blade doesn't have a tip to it. So it's making it a little bit more difficult. See, this it's not turning out like I want it to. Sorry guys, we're trying here. If you haven't noticed, this is totally improper utility knife safety. Please do not do it exactly as I'm doing it. Please be safe. Good enough for our purposes. Okay, so we have a hole. There we go, that's better. Okay, so we have a hole. Now again, I'm just gonna take this and glue it right onto, stay. Glue right around the edge. No glue over the hole. Stay. Glue it right over top of that other hole that we had. Press it down. And there we go. Okay. Now in order to fill this, you are going to pour your sugar water right into the top, okay? You're going to put the bottom part of your container and seal it, okay? Make sure it is tight, and then flip it upside down and hang it. Now, I didn't put anything to hang this from, so I do have some pipe cleaners. You can use wire. We're using what we have, okay? Using what we have. So I'm just going to take a pipe cleaner, wrap it around, tighten, tighten, tighten. Okay. I also found the hot pink pipe cleaner, so that's fine. Huh? It is a flower. Okay. And then to hang it, I'm going to make a little, kind of like a basket thing. So I'm going to put, I tied it too tight. No. Order of operations, guys. Maybe put the other one on first. We'll see. Okay. No, wait. There we go. Okay. So slide one end in. Pull it up. Wrap that around. Okay. Slide the other end in. Maybe. There we go. Okay.
What ratio, what sugar do you suggest?
Oh, good question. I believe the recipe is 2 parts water to 1 part sugar. That, and I would tell you, a lot of places do tell you not to use food dye. Some Hummingbird formulas do have food dye with it. Try not to add that because you already have the red here. But that we're not sure the effects of the red food coloring on the birds, and we don't want to cause them any more problems than they already have, okay? But 2 parts water to 1 part sugar. If you heat it, you do it over, not quite boiling, but heated stove, that will let the sugar dissolve a lot better, okay? So it'll dissolve better, it'll stay dissolved, and you can just put it in the fridge afterwards. For safety, I would clean this out once a week, maybe. Completely get rid of all of the sugar water that's inside of it. Soak it in some soapy water for a little while, rinse it out, and then you can refill it and put it back in. You don't want to leave it for too long, because this stuff, like I said, it's sugar water. This stuff will, it will start to attract mold. I have a feather floating around here. It will start to attract mold. It will start to maybe have fungus in it. Anything that the birds have on their beaks already can get inside of it and cause this whole system to just grow other things, okay? Which is a really cool science experiment, but that's something else entirely. We don't want to do that for this, okay? So, that's it. If we have other questions, you can definitely ask, but that is our recycled material, really super easy hummingbird feeder. So hopefully you'll be able to do this. Hang it up in your yard. If you do, let me know. Let me see it. I want to see pictures. I was super excited to see this and to show it to you. And I was super, super excited to see them out in the yard earlier. So hopefully this will really, really work out. Okay? I have another question. All right. So thank you guys very, very much for joining us today. Thank you all for your support over the last couple weeks. The support we've got has been amazing lately, and we are really, really grateful for it. Our hospital probably has something like 400 animals in it so far. It's only mid-May. It's going to get a lot. We're going to get a lot more animals. It's going to be a fun summer, fun season. All right. So thank you, everybody. I hope to see you guys soon. Once again, our trails are open, our wildlife housing area is open, our wildlife nature center is not, our wildlife hospital is open. If you see any animals that you think need help, please give us a call first. Give the hospital a call. We will let you know what we can do. All right? So thank you. Thank you for your support. Have a good day. Bye, guys.